I like being fashionably late to the party, what can I say? But thank you for your patience waiting for this review, but here I am, here you are, let's review it. So Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning is the seventh, well, the first half of the seventh, the sixth and a half, part one of the seventh Mission Impossible movie, once again starring Tom Cruise, who, are you ready for it? You're not. Is older than Jon Voight was in the original Mission Impossible movie. Right, so once again, he's going after baddies. The government's going after him because they think he's a baddie. And here we go. New Mission Impossible movie. Part 1. Now, the Mission Impossible cast list is it's exponentially growing. We have returning cast members, returning crew, returning friends, returning allies, and new ones. Of the newcomers, Hayley Atwell, I thought she was fantastic. I thought she had great chemistry with Tom Cruise. The Mission Impossible movies have generally done good on that. Rebecca Ferguson, she's another one, returning cast member. Also, she's one of my favorites in the franchise. Hayley Atwell was no exception to that. I thought she was fantastic. A lot of people, other than, like Simon Pegg and Ving Rhames, they're his allies forever. A lot of the other folks out there on the battlefield with Ethan Hunt could run into that enemy of my enemy kind of scenario. I enjoy it when a movie flirts with that. Also, Pom Klementieff, who plays Mantis in the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. I don't want to give a comic book movie comparison because it kind of feels like low-hanging fruit. She is, in fact, in the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. So I'll say John Wick. I feel like her character would fit in the John Wick universe. And the Mission Impossible movies have always had eccentricity, but it's generally been around the tech. Like that's the crazy stuff. Her character's face is painted like a mime and she fights with a sword. If we find out at a point that the John Wick movies inspired that character, I would not be the least bit surprised. I feel like this video will be 37 minutes long if I talk about every character in the film, because the cast list is actually quite large. Ever growing. But how's the movie? How does it stack up as a Mission Impossible movie? How is the action? All of which entertaining. Because I feel like everybody who's reviewed Tom Cruise movies, we've all made the joke, right? We've all been like, oh, the movie's on cruise control because it's Tom Cruise. See the joke, take the joke. It's an easy one. It is cruise control in the very literal sense. Find a speed that works, push the button, let the machine maintain. It checks the boxes it needs, checks the boxes you want, checks the boxes you expect. Spy scene involving masks? Check. Intense, exciting automobile chase sequences? Check. Tom Cruise doing an insane stunt for the sake of the Tom Cruise IP? Double check. Oh, but most importantly, and this you cannot do without. Tracking shot of Tom Cruise hauling ass on foot. Great. Package it. It's in the can. Enjoy. It works. Especially the action sequence part. The Mission Impossible movies have always had really incredible automobile or motorcycle chase action sequences. It's really refreshing to see action sequences and chase sequences that feel this real, that feel this intense. Whether it's a chase sequence or a really claustrophobic alley fight, gotta admit, it's entertaining stuff. The movie definitely borrows from a couple of video games, I will say that. If I found out this movie took place right where Metal Gear Solid 2 ended and just springboarded in Dead Reckoning Part 1, I would not doubt it. Showing once again that Kojima was decades ahead of his time, but if it isn't that, if it's not Metal Gear Solid 2, it's Uncharted 2. I mean, if video games do it best and video game movies don't, you might as well borrow from video games and put them in a movie that's not actually a translation of the video game. Now, there was a major glaring issue in the movie. The thing that did not work for me at all, really, is the villain, not the entity behind the villain. I actually thought that was interesting, intriguing. I want to see more of it. We will in Dead Reckoning Part 2, I imagine. But the main antagonist, the person, he just came across as wooden and kind of forced, especially how they have him tie into Ethan Hunt's past. I was like 7 movies deep and right. Just felt like between the people chasing Ethan Hunt and Ethan Hunt trying to stop this thing, you had enough, but someone got the idea, yeah, we should probably have a person, a face that Ethan Hunt has to go up against. All right, we'll quickly write in this guy. Granted, it's kind of hard to judge because this is part 1. Imagine me watching a movie, stopping it halfway through and be like, all right, this is what I think about it. It's kind of hard to think about that. But alas, here we are. For the 3rd time in about a month and a half. This is the 3rd movie I could think of in 2 months that's done the whole, hey, this is part 1 of 2 kind of bit. Kind of getting annoying at this point. I hope it doesn't become the new trend, but Hollywood being Hollywood, studios being studios, and the trend chasers that they are, I could totally see it becoming the new trend. Point is, some of these elements, including but not limited to the villain, that didn't get so fleshed out in this movie, maybe by the next movie they do get fleshed out. Who knows? By the end of the next movie, it might be the greatest 5-hour epic spy espionage saga I've ever seen in my life. Nitpicks aside, and the fact that this franchise at this point does feel like it is quite literally on cruise control, in which you find the formula that works, stick to the formula, check the boxes, It just proceeds forward. It still makes for reliably kick-ass popcorn entertainment. It's not as tight and fleshed out as I feel Mission Impossible movies have been in the recent past. However, it is part 1 of 2, and that's kind of the risk you run into when you do that. With the action set pieces and overall fun, eccentric spy shit, I had myself a good time. No alcohol required. Or so Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. Have you seen it? What did you think about it? Or how do the Mission Impossible movies rank to you? Favorite to least favorite? I don't know, top 5. However you want to do it. Don't work too hard here. Whatever you think, comment below, let me know. And as always, if you like what you've seen here and you want to see more, click right here to see more.